Bam, you are sitting at your dinner table with your family, enjoying a nice, lovely dinner. Bam, like I said, your front door explodes at the hinge as someone kicks the door in and attempts to come in and assault you and your family. That is a worst case scenario for your life, right? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you know what's going to happen when you do that? Are you ready to defend your family? Well, hey, y'all, welcome to the GI Justin channel. I am so thankful you're here. Thank you for turning up and watching the old channel. So, yesterday we talked about defending your home and setting your home up as a fortress to protect your family. So, what happens in the worst case scenario that you have to employ your firearm against an assailant or a series of assailants that are assaulting your house, especially when you may or may not be prepared? So, we did that video, and I'm going to link that video right at the beginning right here up in the top, so you can go back and look at that and get my thoughts on protecting your house and turning it into a defensible position. But what about actually employing your firearm against an assailant? What happens? Are you going to go to jail? Do you know what the rules are regarding protecting your family and protecting yourself? So today we're going to look at the ways that you can stay both safe in your home and stay legal when it comes to law enforcement and actually employing your firearm to neutralize a threat that could be interested in hurting you or your family. So, first big point that I want to discuss with you is the importance of keeping firearms available to you personally. Now, that doesn't mean leaving it out where your kids can get a hold of it. It doesn't mean putting it on the countertop, locked and loaded, ready to go so that, your kid could accidentally grab it. It means, honestly, remaining in a concealed carry posture in your house during the day when available. Most times if you in your house hear a loud noise in your garage or a loud noise outside, your first thought is not, hey, somebody's breaking into my house. I need to go grab my concealed carry pistol and go get after it. Usually, in most cases, your curiosity as a person just says, something fell, off the rack in the garage, something happened outside. Let me just go take a peek. And in reality, that's the wrong answer, because if there's somebody in your garage or somebody in your house, you need those precious seconds already to prepare to employ the firearm that you are holding or carrying or going to get. Like we talked about in yesterday's video, getting yourself set up to defend yourself and your family in your house. Second part of that is other than this curiosity and not being ready, is, are you prepared to take that shot to protect your family? Are you versed in the things that you need to say to try to de-escalate with that person? Are you prepared to let them know, hey, I have a gun, get out of my house, you are not allowed to be here, get on the ground, get out of here? Any of those things to try to de-escalate and get them to leave without them entering your house and without them attacking you, because again, you don't know what they have in that moment. They may have a knife, they may have a gun, they may have bare hands, they may be so hopped up on drugs that they have bare hands and a tire iron. And here you are with your AK-47. I love AK-47s, ready to kill them. And do you know what the laws are regarding your ability to shoot them in the instances that you can shoot them if they make an attempt to get into your house? And that's a big part of this too, is what are they making entry with? If they have bare hands and you flash a gun at them, chances are good, unless they're in a altered mental status, that they're likely going to just take off running. They probably don't want to press somebody with a gun, even likely with a knife. Now, with a knife, there is the 21-foot consideration, which states that if someone is within 21 feet of you, the amount of ground that they can cover before you can safely unholster and employ your firearm is not enough. They will be on you with that knife before you can get that pistol out. So a knife at close range is as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than a pistol. And then, of course, the alternative is, do they have a gun? Are they coming in with legit, cruel, and evil intent to do you serious bodily harm? These three things are things that you're going to have to figure out very quickly, and giving yourself those precious seconds, like we talked about yesterday, where if you can lock a door between you and them, make your house a fortress, or just be ready that when that door opens, you can employ your firearm adequately and professionally, is also important. So, one of the things that we've talked about a bunch on the channel and that I get questions about fairly regularly is what would constitute a lawful shoot? What would constitute a legal shoot? Can you shoot people in the back? The answer is very, very complex, and it relates a lot to A, where you live and how law enforcement in the area views employing a firearm in your house. Um, the considerations that kind of come into play with these are vast and numerous. What is your age? Are you male? Are you female? Were they an actual threat to your life? What could be considered a threat to me would be significantly different than a threat to one of my children who could employ that firearm. Uh, what is your response time to that situation? Are you sitting at your dinner table and, like I said in this scenario, bam, your front door explodes and somebody's rushing into your house? Your ability to defend yourself comes down to split second decision making. And on top of that, how will the law enforcement consider that scenario? How will the attorneys involved, how will the state respond? How will, depending on the firearm you choose to use, uh, how will the larger government respond? Depending on if you've used a firearm that may or may not be on a list that you may or may not legally own. I mean, there's so many considerations that go into the legality of a shoot. A lot of people say if once they break the threshold of your door into your house, then they are fair game. And that is not necessarily the case, depending on the state that you live in, especially. Another circumstance that plays big time into this is once you make it known that you have a firearm and that person is not welcome in your home, if they start to flee, do you show malice of intent? Do you let them turn and start running and then shoot them in the back? Do you let them run to you and you start shooting at them as they turn to run and you continue to shoot and shoot them in the back? These all sort of play into the situation of, okay, so this person clearly broke into this person's house. Did they de-escalate and get them the heck out of there, or did they shoot them once in the leg and then walk up and shoot them in the head? Big difference in factor there. Did you shoot them in the leg and neutralize the threat and call the authorities while keeping the firearm on the perpetrator? All of this plays into that malicious intent sort of the spectrum when it comes to your shot, whether front, back, side, head, legs, wherever you happen to shoot them, and how many times you happen to, because that depends on your firearm too. If you've got granddaddy's over under 2-shot 12 gauge, that's going to play into it too in terms of how many times you take your shots. And a big part of that as well is crime scene investigation is going to come to the scene of your shooting, and they're going to do analysis. And if it really appears that you acted in pure self-defense, where somebody broke in, they're running at you full speed, you pop shots, and over the course of shooting at them, they take off and you hit them on accident as they're running, that will play a role in how the crime scene investigators can piece together what happened. I think a great way to keep yourself on the right side of the legality is to have cameras. Cameras are the ultimate eyewitness, where if you've got, any of the number of cameras, Google makes cameras, all these different companies make cameras, and Ring is a very, very popular camera. And you can get a Ring that mounts above your garage so that they can get the full approach of this person coming to your house, that will show, hey, they were armed with a machete and a howitzer. They literally drug a 105 millimeter howitzer to my front door and they were ready to fight me. Or it shows, the opposite of that. And then they can trace that one together with the Ring doorbell you have at your front door that shows motion and shows them bashing your front door in and you yelling, get out of my house, I have a gun, I'm in fear of my life. Where, otherwise there may be cases that doesn't really work in your favor. And along with, piecing together that, you also have the layout of your home that plays into this circumstance of why and how you chose to take your shot. Are you home? Me at the house by myself is a much different circumstance than if it is me and my children in the house and that's it, and this person is in my house where my children are accessible to them. How does that play into the shot that I choose to take? Home layout plays into it. Do they have free access to your house if they enter through a certain door and they jump you in your living room? All these things play together to create the picture of whether or not your shoot bears any merit, or whether or not somebody was running up to your house looking like they may do something and you just end up shooting them. That all kind of plays together. So now the big question is, all right, cool, Justin. So you've kind of stayed in a lot of gray area and said not a lot of this will keep you safe and this will not. Here are my recommendations on how it is that you can stay safe in terms of having to employ your firearm against someone attacking your home. First off, like I said, be cognizant of your situation, and if you can, get those cameras employed at your house. Like I said, Ultimate Eyewitness, they will show someone running at your front door full speed with a howitzer trying to make entry so they can shoot you with the howitzer. Secondly, start looking into what the laws of the state you live in are. If you live in some of the more liberal states, your gun laws may be more restrictive. If you live in some of the more conservative states, the laws regarding someone making entry to your home are probably a little more lenient, probably a little less likely to show you ending up in jail. But knowing what those laws are, knowing, hey, if somebody steps foot in my door, then I have free reign to shoot them. Okay. Knowing, hey, if somebody breaks in my home, unless they're within range where they can cause me imminent danger, I can't employ my weapon. That plays into the role. Do they have a knife? Do they have a gun? What do they have? And can you employ that weapon against them? So that kind of plays a big part of it too. Understanding, like I talked about in yesterday's video, and like hopefully go back and take a look at yesterday's video. What's your defensive plan? Does your wife, your husband, your kids, are they part of the plan, or are they unprepared and could likely be taken by this person, leading to a different situation? It plays a factor. Do you know what your defensive plan is? Do you know what your choke points are for somebody who may be attempting to break into your house? Do you have thoughts on these things? So next thing too, if you have the opportunity to do so without impeding their ability to do their jobs, talk to somebody you may know who is intelligent on such matters. Talk to a police officer or an attorney that you may know. Most people know somebody in the law enforcement realm that they can talk to about these situations and say, hey, how is it brought upon in my town when it comes to this sort of thing? What sort of constitutes what's acceptable and what's not here? And usually they may not be able to give you, a full legal brief on it, but at the same time, they can tell you, hey, here's some stuff that maybe I wouldn't recommend doing. Also, right back to hammering this point again, have a plan. Have a plan of, I'm going to carry my concealed firearm until I go to bed at the house. Maybe I won't keep it chambered, but I'll keep it loaded. Maybe I feel comfortable and I don't have kids and I live alone. I'm going to keep my firearm on me and ready to rock and roll at all times. These things play together. And finally, and one of the things that I think probably plays a huge piece of how you can understand these and be ready to grasp your local and state laws when it comes to employing your firearm in your home would be take a look at some of the court cases and trials that have happened of people employing their firearms at home. Look at what's happened in your localities and say, oh yeah, look at this guy. This guy shot somebody running away at full speed from their driveway and he's going to get out of jail when he's 90. Or, hey, in our locale, if somebody presents a threat until they're neutralized, they're a viable target. Those things, all kind of play together in terms of what works and what doesn't. And what better examples to use than get a hold of some court cases from the area that you live in. So, with that being said, I hope this has provided you guys with some insight and some knowledge on how to employ your firearms safely in your home. It's not legal advice, so make sure you do like I said and consult somebody who can help you with that. But these are all thought processes that are really good to get into and work through your mind with when it comes to safely, legally employing your firearm at home. So thank you guys so much for watching the channel and commenting and asking questions and talking with me. I've had some really good emails about yesterday's video, and if you want to email me, my email is in the comments. You can send me, or in the description. You can send me regular mail. My regular post office box is in the description. All that stuff. Thank you guys so much for buying me bourbon. There's a link in the comments if you're enjoying my videos and you would like to buy me a glass of bourbon, which I will happily drink and thank you specifically on the channel for. I always like bourbon. There is right there going to be a circle with a helicopter in it. That's me flying helicopter in Afghanistan. Go ahead and click that thing and hit the notifications and turn on all that stuff so that when I post new videos with good content to keep you safe, keep you taken care of, you're right in the know with it. So thank you guys so much for watching G.I. Justin channel. Have an awesome, awesome day.